Hey, welcome to the Follow Through. I'm Pastor Fred. Great to have you with us here today. And we are following through, right? We're living for God. We're listening to Him. We're doing all of that every single day. So hit the subscribe button, share this with somebody. Today we are in John 15, verse 5, and we're kind of looking at the intentional kind of quality to making disciples. A lot of it's natural as we're going through our lives and we share the faith, but all of that, I just really think it's all God's plan. So there is an intentionality. I mean, with God, there's an intentionality all the time. And can you imagine how many situations and opportunities that God has had that intention for us to share the love of Jesus and to be kind of His hands and feet in this world, and we sort of missed it. So this is maybe a gentle nudge for us to say, okay, yeah, God is doing some amazing things, even when we don't even realize it. And so there's some things we need to be paying attention to and we need to be working on. Because you've ever had like where you tried to use something and it just didn't work? Like imagine I've got my guitar amps behind me, and imagine if I hit the switch on like, let's say this guy right here, which might be out of the frame a little bit, but maybe this guy back here, this Fender, I hit the on switch and nothing, no lights, no great sound. It's just not there. And now I can try to twist all of the volume knobs. I can say, well, man, maybe it's the gain knob on there, or maybe something else is there. Maybe the actual, maybe one of my cables is crackling or a problem. And but very often what happens is you look at the power cord and it has not been plugged in. Yeah, you're not going to get any power if it's not connected to that. You could have everything connected perfectly, right? And I've got pedal boards, I've got all this stuff here, I've got probably, got tons of wires, but if that one wire, that one connection to the actual power source, nothing else is happening, right? Because everything in this setup is hooked up through that one cord, right? And God is that one source of power for us. Now in the passage we're going to look at from John 15:5, he uses, I think, a similar analogy, but it's more from the natural world, right? From a tree, right? A tree has a trunk and the roots go down. But again, you got to have those roots. But what happens is Jesus says that we are these branches. He is the vine. He's the trunk. He's the power source, where all the nutrients and all that stuff and the stability and we're literally connected to Him, just like a branch is connected to a tree, right? The limbs go out and the branches go off from there. Now, the further out a branch goes, the further away it is, right? The further away from what it needs, from that power source. Now imagine, as Jesus, kind of warns us, like what happens if it gets disconnected, if it gets cut off, right? Just like that power cord, if that power cord gets unplugged, there's no juice, there's nothing. You're done, and that's what Jesus reminds us of here. He says, "I'm the vine, you're the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him." And so that means, whoever is like trusting in me, doesn't give up, doesn't say, hey, I can do this on my own and I don't need you, God. Whoever, abides in him, sticks with the Lord and realizes the Lord is always, always, always going to stick with him. He says that person bears much fruit, right? Kind of like a tree. He's continuing that analogy. Branches that are connected are healthy and they're growing, and they produce fruit, right? So if it's an apple tree, it's apples. If it's an orange tree, it's oranges. If it's a walnut tree, it's walnuts. Whatever it is, it's gonna bear it because it is healthy. And same for us. But if that cord, if that power, if we're not connected to Him, if we say, Lord, I'm good, I don't need you, and we spend all of our days just far from Him, we get up, we just hit the ground running, and we go, and we never pray, we never ask God, we never talk to Him, we never talk to anybody else, right? There's no wonder that things fall apart, and no wonder things are so bad sometimes, because and we're checking all the other things, and maybe I just gotta have a stronger connection with this person or with that person, or gotta work harder here or harder there. He's like, okay, you could do all that, but you're unplugged from the power source. So get plugged back in. Because He says, for apart from me, you can do nothing. Now, I think Jesus says this not to sort of slam us or hurt us or make us feel bad, but He's going, look, I don't want you. He says, I don't want you living apart from me, apart from that source of power. I want you to know that I died for you. I want you to know that I paid that ultimate sacrifice for you. And even in addition to that, He's saying, look, and I'm with you all the time. Nothing's going to separate me from your love. All those great promises God gives in His Word. And so He's saying, just abide with me. Never buy the lie that you can do it on your own. Never buy the lie that you don't need God. Because that's just not true. Because life with Him is amazing. It's incredible. It's not always easy. But it's got such purpose and such meaning and such power because He is that power source. So today I want you to look at your life and just say, okay, where maybe you sometimes forget to plug in, right? Maybe, or you keep unplugging, probably is more accurate. Keep saying, oh, I don't really need God. I'm just going to unplug from this power source, unplug from God. See, that's why we do these follow-throughs day in and day out, and why I think it's so important for us to share them. So that more people, so this is a way to stay connected. As we pray, as we look at Scripture, as we look at these words that Jesus has, because they're so true. And I pray that they make a difference for you today. We'll talk to you next time for another follow-through.